We're live over here, 77 WABC pre-show. Frankie Russo, 120, show number 120 pre-show. We're getting closer to Trump 45, baby. You better believe it. Before we get started, remember, America's team, help America's team, help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Remember, help America's team, help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Go to the America's team icon, click on it, follow the buttons, and let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Got to do this now. I don't care. It's slow. We ain't stopping. And this is the model. This is the oral term paper. Fraudulent Selective Service Registration Card, Obama, attached to the Clinton Foundation Memorandum of Understanding, Iranian Global Terror Network, Iranian surrogates. Levy Foundation gave $105,000 to the Clinton Foundation. The Levy Foundation was part of the 650 Fifth Avenue case with Bank Melli of Iran and Assa Corporation. They're part of that Iranian terror nexus in the 650 Fifth Avenue building, which was eventually forfeited to the United States government. The mullahs took it over, and the Preet Bharara had a complaint against them, and the United States judge ruled in favor of Preet Bharara, and they lost the building. And so people tell me, so what? Who cares? Frankie Russo, they gave $105,000 to the Clinton Foundation, the Iranian Alevi Foundation. Well, the Iranian Alevi Foundation gave $1.4 million to the Blind Chicks Mosque. Statistically significant, okay? That's one. And then two, which puts this model over the top, is the illegal, unapproved server in Hillary Clinton's basement, the rogue intelligence agency. Over the top. Crazy stuff. We're going to do this. You take that model and apply it, which I've been doing. You apply that model to the Obama administration timeline. Crazy stuff. So anyway, let's go through some articles as we move forward over here, getting ready for tonight's show. So I found two in the New York Post. Tel Aviv terror attack earns gunman a salary from the Palestinian Authority. Right? It's crazy. Here's an ugly footnote. It's a New York Post. New York Post editorial. This is New York Post editorial. Here's an ugly footnote to Wednesday's terror attack in Tel Aviv. The two gunmen now automatically qualify for monthly salaries from the Palestinian Authority, which equals Hamas. nctc.gov, Palestinian branch of Muslim Brotherhood. That right is enshrined in Article 22.22, Article 22.2 of the Palestinian Authority Constitution, the basic law of Palestine. They're supposed to be civilized people. The terrorists opened fire at a popular open-air market, killing 4 innocents, wounding 5 others. It was the latest of some 300 attacks these last 9 months, which include stabbings, bombings, motor vehicle assaults, and other mayhem. The slaughterers claimed 30 Israeli lives, including some Arab ones and 2 Americans. And all the surviving attackers collect Palestinian Authority checks. So do the families of what the Palestinian Authority calls the martyrs who died during their assaults. One UN-funded Palestinian Authority charity even did a tree planting ceremony to honor some of these terrorists. As the non-for-profit Palestinian Media Watch points out, the Palestinian Authority's official news outlets are terming the latest atrocity the Tel Aviv operation, while the Facebook page of the ruling Fatwa party blames Israel for inspiring the attacks. What a great partner for peace the Palestinian Authority is. What a great partner for peace. The Palestinian Authority is. Unbelievable. That's one definite in the game. Here's another one. This is written by Eli Lake. Eli Lake of the New York Post. Congratulations, U.S. taxpayers. You're funding Iran's military. Just for the record, before we move, Palestinian Authority, Obama, Hillary Clinton was pitching the Congress to send hundreds of millions of dollars to the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, the Gaza Strip. It was so bad that the Congress, that the United States Senate was saying, wait a second, how do we not know? Because they were going to send it under the guise of humanitarian aid, because they had a waiver of the federal statutes, because according to the federal statutes, you can't send United States taxpayers' dollars to terrorist entities, Hamas. Hillary Clinton and Obama waived the federal statutes, and under humanitarian aid sent hundreds of millions of dollars to Hamas. The Congress was saying, how do we not know that these terrorists are going to use these dollars, these United States dollars, for humanitarian aid and not terror, right? And in addition, it's come out, the Washington Free Beacon, the Congressional Record Service claims, thanks to the Washington Free Beacon, claims that Iran sends tens of millions of dollars to Hamas plus rockets to drop on Israel. Hamas has dropped over 5,000 rockets from 2007, 2006 on Israel. Crazy, right? Just for the record, this is what part of the Obama timeline, the Obama administration timeline. So, as an unexpected result of Obama's new opening to Iran, the U.S. taxpayers are now funding both sides of the Middle East arms race. So not only the United States subsidizing defense spending in Egypt and Israel, now they're paying for some of Iran's military expenditures as well. The world's largest state sponsor of terror. They've killed, either materially supported or actually done the killing, supplied weapons, money, and training to kill the men and women of the United States Armed Forces all over the world. Even according to court papers, they provided material support for the Afghan Taliban that hit the World Trade Center in 2001. The horrific hit. Terrible. Unbelievable. There's a billions of dollars settlement on that case. Iran materially supported Afghan Taliban that did the hit, the horrific hit on the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, before, during, and after. Crazy. It starts with $1.7 billion the U.S. Treasury wired to Iran's central bank in January during a delicate prisoner swap and the implementation of last summer's nuclear deal to resolve a long-standing dispute about Iran's arms purchases before the revolution of 1979. For months, it wasn't clear they were going to get the money. The mystery resolved in May when Iran's Guardian Council approved the government's 2017 budget that instructed Iran's central bank to transfer $1.7 billion to the military. Saeed Gashemedand, an associate fellow of the Foundation for Defenses of Democracy, spotted the budget item. He told the development was widely reported in Iran by numerous sources, including the state-funded news services. Republicans and some Democrats opposed Obama's nuclear deal have argued that the end of some sanctions would help fund Iran's military, but at least that was Iran's money already. Really? So who cares? It doesn't matter. We're still giving them money. The 1.7 billion that the Treasury transferred to Iran in January is different. Interesting. About 400 million of it came from a trust fund comprising money paid by the government of the Shah, a U.S. ally, for arms sold to Iran before the 1979 revolution. The remaining 1.4 billion represents interest on the 400 million principal over more than 36 years. According to a letter from the State Department to Rep Mike Pompeo, who has called for an investigation into the January payment, the money came out of something known as the Judgment Fund, which is a source of funding to pay judgments and claims against the United States where there is no other source of funding. At the time of the transfer in January, the Obama administration said the $1.7 billion payment was a bargain for taxpayers because the United States would probably have to pay a steeper interest rate had the matter been adjudicated by the Hague. Nonetheless, the $1.7 billion payment has still rackled Obama's critics. In January, many observers, including Pompeo, said the transfer was more like a ransom payment because it coincided with the release of the 5 Americans detained in Iran. The Iranian commander of the Bashiji militia, Mohammad Raza, said at the time, taking this much money back was in return for the release of the American spies. The irony here is that Iran has been pleading poverty in recent months. The country's supreme leader and foreign minister have publicly complained that Iran's economy has not seen the benefits expected from the Iran nuke deal. Yet Iran's 2017 $19 billion defense budget has increased by 90% from 2016. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. All right. So those are articles out in the Post today. Judge who freed the jihadist Texas shooter named as potential Supreme Court nominee linked to La Raza. The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals judge who previously dismissed terror charges against one of the Garland, Texas shooters has a connection to the controversial activist group National Council of La Raza. Judge Mary Mugwala, appointed by Clinton, dismissed government charges against Elton Simpson for suspected terrorism. On Sunday, Simpson attacked a free speech event in Garland, Texas, depicting the Prophet Muhammad in cartoons. That's amazing. The FBI knew that Elton Simpson, one of the Garland jihadists, was a threat and had attempted to lock him up after amassing evidence he intended to go to Somalia as a terrorist. I forgot my cap. They had him on tape stating that Allah loves an individual who's out there fighting non-Muslims, and if you get shot or get killed, it's heaven right straight ahead. Mr. Simpson then said, heaven, that's what we're here for, so why not take that route? Amazing. Human Events, a conservative blog, previously reported that the mainstream media views La Raza no more than a Hispanic Rotary Club, but La Raza collected roughly $15.2 million grants in federal grants in 2005. Human Events also reported that undisclosed amounts of that money were used in the Get Out the Vote effort supporting La Raza political positions. La Raza has been added to congressional hearings as an anonymous senator even gave the Council of La Raza an extra $4 million in earmarked taxpayer money, supposedly for housing reform. This is crazy stuff. However, the LA Times previously noted that Judge Mugwala's twin sister, Janet Mugwala, leads a controversial group known as National Council of La Raza, which has been criticized as a racist hate group. It is the nation's largest Latino civil rights activist organization. La Raza is closely linked to the Obama administration's amnesty efforts. Judge law firm bringing Trump U case both tied to La Raza. Jerome Corsi, tremendous investigative reporter. Judge Curiel awarded scholarship to legal immigrants. The federal judge presiding over Trump University class action lawsuit is a member of the San Diego La Raza Lawyers Association, a group, while not a branch of the National Council of La Raza, has ties to the controversial organization, which translates literally the race. U.S. District Judge Curiel, who has been criticized by Donald Trump as a hater appointed by President Obama, who should be recused from the case, listed his membership in the La Raza Lawyers of San Diego on a judicial questionnaire he filled out when he was selected to be a federal judge. He was named in a brochure as a member of the selection committee for the organization's 2014 annual scholarship fund dinner and gala. Meanwhile, the San Diego-based law firm representing the plaintiffs in the Trump University case, Robbins, Giller, Rudman, and Dodd, was listed as a sponsor of the event. And the San Diego firm paid over $675,000 to the Clintons for speeches, and the firm's founder is a wealthy San Diego lawyer who served a 2-year sentence in federal prison for a role in kickback scheme to mobilize plaintiffs for class action lawsuits. While critics of Trump have argued that the San Diego La Raza law firm is not affiliated with the National Council of La Raza, consider the following. The San Diego La Raza Lawyers Association is a member of the La Raza Lawyers of California, affiliated with the Chicano Latino Bar Association of California. On the website of the La Raza Lawyers Association of California, at the bottom of the links and affiliates, the National Council of La Raza is listed. The website of the San Diego La Raza lawyers is joint listed as San Diego's Latina Bar Association. On the endorsements page, the combined website lists the National Council of La Raza as part of the community, along with the Hispanic National Bar Association, a group that emerged with a changed name from the originally formed La Raza National Lawyers Association and La Raza National Bar Association. Crazy stuff, man. Clinton aide will plead fifth in court. Attorney cites sufficient evidence of self-incrimination. Attorneys for a tech aide to Hillary Clinton's server defended his right to plead the fifth in an upcoming deposition, arguing that an immunity deal he struck with the Justice Department would not protect him from self-incriminating comments about the email server that he might make in the civil case. Byron Pagliano, the IT aide who set up Clinton's email server, has been summoned to a deposition in a public records lawsuit brought by watchdog group, thank God for them, judicialwatch.org. You got to donate against the State Department. FBI confirms records from Clinton's private server being held as evidence. The FBI has refused to divulge details, according to this is Washington Free Beacon reporting, to divulge details about documents recovered from Hillary Clinton's private email server, claiming that the documents are evidence in an ongoing investigation. There's no security review over here. All of the materials retrieved from any electronic equipment obtained, but quite frankly, everybody, do we need to know, do we need a ruling from the FBI or anybody about an indictment or anything like that? Do we really need to know? We already know she's guilty as all get out. Right? So don't go crazy if they don't indict her. Don't go crazy. You know where we win? In the courtroom of public opinion. The ballot box. We got to turn out so big that they can't steal it. They can't fraudulently steal it. It's just a 50-foot tidal wave. Once and for all. Put an end to this mess. Put Trump in there and let him fix this thing. All the materials retrieved from any electronic equipment obtained from former Secretary of State for the investigation are evidence, potential evidence, and information that has not yet been assessed for evidentiary value. Breitbart reporting Hillary Clinton won't admit right to bear arms is constitutional. Hillary Clinton twice refused to affirm that the right to keep and bear arms is constitutional during an interview on the June 5th hearing on, what's his face? George Stephanopoulos, another Clintonista. Stephanopoulos got into the questions about gun control by referencing claims that Clinton wants to abolish the Second Amendment. He then asked, do you believe an individual's right to bear arms is constitutional right? That it's not linked to the service in the militia. In responding, Clinton not only avoided affirming that the right to bear arms is constitutionally protected, but argued that Americans have historically understood it to be an open and regular. Get rid of her, man. We must declare Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations. The United States must step forward and declare all of them, as foreign terrorist organizations, according to Breitbart Texas Managing Director Brandon Darby. Most of the politicians in the border states are actually surrogates and have been surrogates of the criminal organizations that control those regions. Ultimately, it's going to take that declaring cartels as terrorists to stop them. As a terrorist organization, the United States could go after the corrupt politicians that protect them, the banks that funnel their money, and other entities that the criminal organizations rely on. The measure is the same that authorities eventually did with narcotic terrorists in Colombia, such as the FARC, he said. While there are drug cartels like the Sinaloa Federation that tend to leave the public alone for the most part, in the case of the Gulf Cartel and the Los Zetas, the brutality with which these cartels victimize the innocents is enough to warrant the title. And in addition, as I said last week, a Mexican drug cartel was co-opted by an Iranian American in 2011 and Iranian Quds Force leader. To the Mexican drug cartel was given $100,000 to go on American soil and whack an ambassador to the United States, a Saudi ambassador to the United States. And if Pripahara didn't stop it, and if it happened, according to Judge Napolitano, it's an act of war. This is crazy. And it's another thing. I can't find the article, but I found an article where they're claiming there's right now I don't have the article in front of me, so I can't actually say with statistical significance that it's true. There is some statistical significance to it, but they're claiming that this La Raza group is part of this assault on the Trump attendees, hitting the Trump attendees with bats, rocks, pipes, and saying that, waving the Mexican flag and saying this is Mexico. That's racist, no? And then they're claiming as well as the Mexican drug cartels as part of this as well, because they don't want the changes that Trump is going to bring, the wall. Right? Here's my shout out. This is my shout out right here. I got to shout this lady out. Yeah, I got to shout her out. I'm going to shout her out. Major shout out to Miss District of Columbia. Her name, if I can just get it down, I know her last name is Barber. District of Columbia. She's Miss District of Columbia. Listen to this. She's so impressive. Not only is she a beautiful woman, but Miss District of Columbia is a military commander in the United States Army. She's a very impressive lady. I love it. Reminds me of Sarah Palin. You know, she can dress in stilettos and walk around in a bikini, and then before you know it, she's dressed in army fatigues and she's looking to take out a bear. You know, I'm telling you, I love it. She's going rogue. I love it. I don't know, man. I got this thing with women that could, flip the script. It's exciting. I find it exciting. I don't know. Call me a whack job. I don't know. My computer's slow, so I got this. Oh yeah, Mitt Romney. They're having a summit in Utah. Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, and Rice Priebus. A Trump summit in Utah. So I don't know what's going on over there. Let's see what this is about. Conservative Review, Brian Darling challenges Bill Kristol and his fellow Never Trumpers. Either man up or shut up. Go figure. Man up or shut up, as Rice Priebus last week called this third party candidate headed by Bill Kristol with David French a bunch of loonies on a suicide mission. Go figure. Donald Trump got 1,500 delegates, almost 14 million votes, the GOP primary record, and he's got over 37 states. He's got over, what, half the country? 37 into 50, 51, whatever, 50. Emails and Clinton probe dealt with planned drone strikes. Wall Street Journal. At the center of a criminal probe involving Hillary Clinton's handling of classified information is a series of emails between American diplomats in Islamabad and their superiors in Washington about whether to oppose specific drone strikes in Pakistan. Wow. The stuff that goes on. White House calls, here we go. In the same breath, as Obama claims that Hillary Clinton has the trusted judgment to be president of the United States, claiming that he's endorsing Hillary Clinton, White House calls FBI probe into Clinton's classified emails as a criminal investigation. A criminal investigation. On the same day, Obama endorses her. So she might be getting indicted. Obama's just covering his tracks, so he don't want to be accused of not endorsing her, of not supporting her. She might be getting indicted. Obama's into self-preservation, you know. That much I'll tell you. You know? But anyway, so this is the Frankie Russo show, pre-show. Yeah. We went over a few articles here. We got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Let me write this show up. I'll see you in about 40 minutes. Frankie Russo. Yeah.